hey, it's me. Well, kind of. It's you in the future. You had no project and you like majorly failed the class. Chef was pissed. So me, you, decided to help you out. By the way, we totally have time travel by the end of the evening. It's actually pretty handy. Well, yeah, perks of time travel. Okay, well then let's go back to the past then. It was a beautiful Asiatic morning in 2000 BC as the Shah dynasty founded... Okay, well, then what is now modern-day China has existed for a long time, and could be known as a long string of dynasties, which is really easy to get glossy-eyed over. I guess it began as early as 2000 BC, where dynasties began, lasting sometimes as 400 years at a time. Like families or other ruling parties would take their turn, ruling all the way up until 1911, which is when the Republic of China was formed. This is known as the Xinhai Revolution, which is actually pretty important to it. At this time, two groups identified as the governing party, one being the Nationalists and the other being the People's Republic of China. In 1934, Mao Zedong emerges as a new power within the region, declaring communism as the future for China. Mistake, if you ask me. In 1934, Mao Zedong also takes this opportunity to really push this agenda on China, and it's completely changed forever by this. However, 20 years of civil war eventually led to the nationalists being defeated and setting up government in Taiwan, while communism finally took its official hold over China. And in 1976, Mao Zedong died. Now this led to kind of a power struggle, which eventually led with all the supporters of Mao Zedong being arrested for crimes against the state. Now new leadership takes over and works on economic reform, which is amazing. And it wasn't even until recently that China finally ended their one-child policy, which if you don't know about, you should look it up. It's not good. I guess since now their more recent affairs ends with China trying to reestablish their connections with the UN and the US by being more active in their foreign affairs. And as of recently, they've been working really hard with the US and the UN to decide, I guess, appropriate action for North Korea. Well, I know, right? Well, yeah, do I? China's like the fourth largest country, based on an area total of 3,705,400 square miles. It's so large. China has different, I guess, subdivisions of its land. For example, the country is divided into 23 provinces, 5 autonomous regions, and 4 municipalities. In China, an autonomous region is an area that has its own local government and directs directly to the federal government. In addition, I guess the 5 autonomous regions were created for the country's ethnic minority groups. So that would be Xinjiang, Tibet, Inner Mongolia, and Guangxi and Ningxia are the 5 autonomous regions of China. And as far as the topography goes, it varies really greatly from high mountainous regions to kind of inhospitable desert zones. There's actually surprisingly a lot of desert. And then there are a lot of flat, fertile plains. It can kind of be compared to a staircase descending from, I guess, west to east. The Tibetan Plateau would be the highest part of the country, the first step, so to speak. Well, yeah, but just wait till I get to the cultural influence. Yeah, well, there are 4 major cuisines that are authentic and go something like this. The Sichuan and Hunan cuisines have a lot of hot spice influences. The Anhui and Fujian cuisines, inclusion of like wild foods from the mountainous regions. The Guangdong, known as kind of the Cantonese, generally has like sweeter, lighter flavors, while the Shandong cuisine is fresh and salty with a lot of seafood. And as far as influences, it's so widely used anywhere from your local mall to the international section of your local grocery store, or maybe even the orange chicken that your mom makes. It's like, it's been so Americanized now, kind of what we see, that it's found so much popularity among the US, but it doesn't mean that there aren't really authentic pieces that you still see today. Yeah, well, you should be ashamed of yourself. Well, things like chili sauce, Chinese mushrooms, dried dark soy sauce, fermented black beans, ginger, hoisin sauce, oyster sauce, things like that all authentic flavors and ingredients that come from that region that we use even now today. Well, it's not just cool, it's awesome when you consider that the cooking methods most common are used everywhere. By now things like steeping, I want to say steaming, deep frying, stir fry, all of these things are used today, and it's really, really common in China. And most of it started in that, I guess, area one way or another. Oh, okay, well, sure. But just so you know, don't eat the leftovers in the fridge. You'll think they're good. They're not. Okay. Well, peace, man.